too smooth, that mud talking to have your ass in a wreck. Who's signing your check? Pussy better do what he says. We shutting down shows. Ain't gotta put no price in your head. Man, I'm coming for your tongue for all that shit that you said.
Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is today. And then, of course, I'm going to tell you exactly what it ain't. It ain't no bullshit. That's right off the top. It's real spit coming from a real live vato doing real things. Yeah, we really real. Real talk. Now, trip out. As you can tell by that thumbnail right there, we're going to get straight into a profile. Not a lot of people know about this individual. This individual's shit was all over the place, right? He played an intricate part into a lot of stuff that went on for the Fresno Bulldog gang, as well as what went on in other people's lives. So he says, allegedly, right? But as you can see by that thumbnail right there, not a lot of people have heard about this guy. We're talking about Armando Mousie Morales, the Fresno Bulldogs, no longer a perro, but you know what I'm saying, right? At the same time, in the meantime, in between time, I thought that if for no other reason I should profile this individual because he was well known out there in the streets in the cities of Fresno, right? He was really wiggling. He was really doing this thing for several years. Hey, and quietly as it's kept, he got a big name out there. So Armando Morales was born in the city of Fresno in 1961 premature. He was a very small baby. Hence, he got the name Mousie at a very young age. Now, growing up in the city of Fresno, like I've said before in other spills, it's grimy, it's greasy, it gets ugly. So windows get shot out, windows get broke out, perros on every corner biting ankles. It goes down in the city of Fresno. So growing up, back in these days, he quickly became associated with the gang called the F-14 Fresno Norteños, right? Slowly but surely, he adopted the ways of the Fresno Norteños. Now, anyone from the F-14 will tell you, so there ain't very many left, they were old school. They were an old school stilo. They were a very tight-knit group, and they were vicious, vile characters. These individuals from F-14 were with the business, okay? Being Fresno Norteños at that point in time, they held themselves to a high standard. They carried themselves as an elite group within the organization, within the movement. Now, this is just about the time the NF is actually setting up regiments in the city of Fresno. One of the first cities that they actually set up regiments up north, or central is what you call it, the Central Valle, located in that 209, now the 559. But at this time, it was the 209. We're talking about old school shit, homie. We're talking about F-14. Watch out, perros. Sit down and get a history lesson. Bang, bang. So he grew up as an F-14er. He was well accustomed, well educated, well indoctrinated, and adapted to his surrounding areas and what was going on with this movement. Now, of course, over time, what happened was the Fresno Bulldogs broke off from the Northern Car and decided that if for no other reason, they should do their own thing. They felt they were being persecuted by the organization, that they were being told to bring in drugs, that they were being ridiculed and utilized and used and abused. Now, sabes que there's always been lightweight tension between the city of Fresno and San Jose. I'm talking about within the Northern Collective. So they felt that if for no other reason, they should do their own thing, that they can do and conduct their own business as themselves as an F-14 car. Eventually, over time, they gravitated away from the 14 and they picked up and adopted and adapted to what is also known now as the Fresno Bulldog moniker. Okay, so Armando Morales, Mousie, played an intricate part into all that. He was right in the moving and the grooving of things. He adapted to his surroundings in his area, and whatever the perros wanted to do, he was with it. And a lot of these Fresno Bulldogs did. I was there firsthand when a lot of vatos decided that if for no other reason, they were going to say pela puto and do their own thing. And of course, I myself was feeling some type of way. And there was a lot of altercations, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of good homeboys and good relationships got severed right there on the spot. There was no beeping and booping talking. So I was giving, hey, watch out. Where you from? Fresno. Sas. Where you from? Norte. Has, right? Has. That's a new word. Word of the day. Has, right? It's like hang. I don't know where you got that word from, gun, but I got it. Anyways, we're going to move on with it. So the Fresno Bulldogs did their own thing. Now, Mousie was involved to the fullest. And he was pretty notorious out there, you know. Anyone that's from the city of Fresno will tell you there's a lot of individuals, when you say their name, people that know their history, their name pops out to them. Now, his name is known for a few different reasons. But I think the number one and number 1A reason, we won't even say number two, we'll say 1A. The number one reason is he was known for implementing and trying to start a faction called the Bulldog Nation, the Nation Dogs. Now, I remember when this shit started. So we got a wee line. I remember reading it, and they were the Bulldog Nation. We're taking over the nation. I said, "Nah, the wind ain't going to blow to Merced like that, right? We ain't going to get down like that. You perros are going to do your Fresno thing, your Fresno County thing, and maybe sprinkle in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But for the most part, man, there's no way that you're going to take over the nation. About to say, who you think you are, 18th Street, right? Oh, they did, right? And quietly as it's kept, it's my utmost and ultimate respects to the Fresno Bulldogs for maintaining and doing what they did. But a lot of them weren't with the Bulldog Nation. And the reason why they weren't with, and this guy actually implemented rules, regulations, and a whole platform of fucking ideas that he had. Yes, Mousie Morales was the instigator into trying to start the Bulldog Nation that a lot of Bulldogs were not with. They weren't with that. The reason they weren't with it is they were tired of the structure. They were tired of being told what to do by the next man. They were tired of having to contribute to a cause that they didn't truly believe in. They just wanted to do a Fresno thing. Rebels, renegades, and dogs running wild. That's what they were into. That's what they wanted to do. That's what the separation was about. Not being told what to do by another organization or another man. They wanted to do the Fresnal thing. Of course, this vato wanted to structure up, implement lieutenants and capitanes and so on and so forth. Basically taking a page from the AM and the NF and implementing it into a Bulldog Nation gang where they would recruit individuals from outside of the Fresno County area from everywhere. Now that's fine and dandy. Sabes que soldados will be soldados. If you want to take into the perros, órale, papi chow, take into the perros. Handle your business, but at the same time, remember, there's repercussions for every action. And a lot of his homeboys weren't feeling this. You know, they weren't feeling the structure part of it. Oh yeah, they believed in the recruiting tactics and the recruiting tools that would be utilized to gain manpower. You know, because soldados are needed when you're especially in the penitentiary. You got to have that manpower to hold it down and set your foundation and plant your flag down. Handle your business. But at the same time, they weren't with the structure part of it. And captains and lieutenants and corporals, oh my, they didn't want to do that. And so this manifesto that he wrote, calling it the Bulldog Nation epistle, and all this, they weren't with it. So eventually in county jail, what happens is he is booked. He is removed from the household. He is removed from having any type of status, because at this time, man, he was somebody out there in the streets of Fresno and within the county jail. You know, he was calling shots. He was making moves with thugs. He was handling and lacing up all his little homeboys, and he was well known out there. So what happens is he eventually gets booked. So I was get, puto, we ain't gonna have that. And Bulldog Nation falls off, right? No one's talking about it anymore. I remember one day was there. I was like, Charlie. The next day I was there and I was like, told you, right? And that was it. It happened fast and happened quick. It had nothing to do with the Sureños or the Norteños making moves so that it wouldn't happen. It had to do within the own gang not wanting that bullshit. They weren't down with that. That's not what they were willing to fight for. So Mousie's whole get down and Mousie's whole idea didn't work out according to plan. So what happens? This vato's removed now. He's removed in the county jail. He's told to get on down the yellow brick road. Now, what happens in life, and I'm going to give it to you raw and real, no added preservatives. Sometimes when you're no longer in good standing, you're considered a no good northerner or a dropout sureño or a bulldog that's not fucking looked at righteously. You still go back to the body. You still got homeboys that are not even going to care about all that. They're not really part of the organizations. They're not part of the fucking get down, the politics and the structure. So they don't care about what happened while you were in prison. You're their boy, man. You guys stole a car when you were 11 years old. So I was a kid. The wind was blowing that day. You know what I mean? It was cold that night. And they're good with it. It is what it is, man. They're always going to show homeboy favoritism and utilize that tactic, man, to kick it. That's it, man. Your old school homeboys will always be your old school homeboys. Now, when they go to prison and they get out and they know what's up, ¿sabes qué? You might not want to go eat carne asada at their house because, ¿sabes qué? You never know. You know what I mean? What could happen that day? But at the end of the day, this is what Mousie was doing. His influence was so strong that he was actually going out there still in the city of Fresno and maintaining these friendships and these associations and utilizing them and utilizing these the dummy role and these tactics to monetarily gain for himself and come up. You know, he was not a fucking dumb individual, but was a shrewd, shiesty individual. So what ends up happening is he ends up catching a case. And he ends up going to federal prison. Now, he goes to a lightweight federal prison where he's flying under the radar and he goes under an assumed name. He's telling everyone they call him Phoenix. Sasuke, he rose from the ashes. Why that Baboso took that name, I can't call it like an alcoholic. But at the end of the day, this is the fucking name that he chose, right? Bang, bang. Orale Phoenix, right? A jotito name. Anyway, so now his name's Phoenix and he's doing his thing within the federal system. And he's playing the role as someone who is solo bolo. You know, of course, he has a big old dog paw in his hand. He's telling people that's for his Native American, roots and this and that. He's utilizing. You know, he's utilizing it and he's flying under the radar. And of course, he's in a minimum custody federal prison. So there's really not gang members actively looking at him any type of way. Everyone's just in there on white collar crimes. They're just trying to get in and get the fuck on down the road. And that's it, plain and simple, period. So they could play that motherfucking stock market one more game. Anyways, he ends up getting celled up with the vato from Mara Salvatrucha, who's awaiting extradition, right? He's going to be extradited back to his country, El Salvador, in Central America. And that's the end of the rainbow for him. That's where he's going. Because this guy liked to attack women. Okay, he was in there for 2 attacks on women. To what degree of attacks, I can't call it like an alcoholic. And why would Mousie be celled up with someone like this is beyond my belief. But he chose to be celled up with this guy and let this guy walk the linea. So help him God, right? Whatever. Of course, under, you start pillow talking, you start talking to your cellie. You guys start chopping it up, becoming familiar, becoming brothers, becoming acquaintances, camaradas. You start to talk about past crimes. And so according to Mr. Morales, I'm going to call him Mr. Morales because this is when he turned fed on us. I'm going to call him Mr. Morales. He started inquiring into some of these past crimes that Juan Dique did to somehow get a time cut. That's what these shrewd individuals do. So it's okay. Well, maybe, the wind's blowing. Maybe if he could tell me something that no one knows that I know, so I can utilize that in the future to gain some type of, love from the prosecution. And exactly this is what happens. He goes to the authorities telling them that he has this crazy story. Now, anyone that doesn't know, there was a woman named Chandra Levy. Okay, Chandra Levy was murdered, found dead, or her body came up missing. I can't call it like an alcoholic, but I know it was a very big case, and they were looking at a United States senator or someone within the government, Mr. Gary Conduct, concerning this case. Of course, man, it was a big case. It was nationwide. Everybody was talking about it. So what Mr. Morales did is he said that this vato Juan Dique from Mara Salvatrucha actually admitted to him in the cell that he was actually the one who killed that chick, right? So immediately, he was on his Mousey shit. He ran straight to the prosecution, straight to the feds, and gave them this story, to which they believed him because he was so good with his wordplay, being a leader for so long of the Fresno Bulldogs and being in that gang underworld. He had that gift of game, that gift of gab, that mouthpiece. He was able to manipulate and utilize the story that he conducted or concocted. That's how you say conducted. He conducted to concoct it, right? He concocted the story and they believed him. Why did they believe him? Because what a lot of people didn't know, and so I'm going to let you guys know right now, this vato had been working with the federal government for several years, even when he was an active Fresno Bulldog member trying to start the Bulldog Nation. Oh, you didn't know? You had a fed in your midst. This is what he was doing. Where were your antennas when Mousie was running around really being a mouse? He was about to get motherfuckers hung in that fashion, right? But anyways, so he talks to the prosecution and works out a deal where he can be given, a time cut, time reduction, time reduced, whatever he works out with them. We'll never see the ink. We'll never see the contract, but it was what it was. So anyways, he goes to court and he's a special witness and he actually testifies against Juan Dique, to which Juan Dique is ultimately convicted just based on this guy's testimony. No evidence, no weapons, no nada. Just this one, Vato's fucking Mousie, de Fresno, his testimony gets Juan Dique convicted. Okay, so now Juan Dique is sitting down for 60 fucking years in a high-level maximum federal prison. But of course, Juan Dique has lawyers on top of lawyers, giving lawyers piggyback rides. And they start to delve into who Armando Mousie Morales really is. And they find out that he was actually a confidential informant from the city of Fresno for several years, working with the feds against his own gente, his own camaradas, his own people, and now Juan Dique. So what happens is Juan Dique continues to maintain his innocence, that he doesn't even know who Sandra Libre is. That's how he says it, Sandra Libre, right? He doesn't even know. He's a non-English speaking El Salvadorian. So it's harder for him, This was a cold, shrewd, crazy fucking move that this vato did just to get like an 8-month time reduction to fucking bury a Latino. What a despicable fucking character. They should get his paws cut off for that. Perros, mount up. Handle your fucking, your basura. Anyways, and they're down. I know it. Anyways, so what happens is this vato ends up getting a new trial. So, of course, Armando Morales is back out in the city of Fresno wiggling the way he does, and he gets called back for this case. Well, how he gets busted and how the case takes a twist and a turn is they ended up putting him up at a hotel, a real nice, pricey hotel. And there's actually a woman that's also staying in this hotel that was actually an actress from that movie, from that show, House of Cards. She was a B-playing actress, someone who played in the background, and she ends up meeting Armando Morales, and he tells her his name's Phoenix, and they get into some type of friendship. To the degree of friendship, was she giving him mamones? I can't call it, probably. But at the same time, they start to develop a friendship, and he starts to open up to her. See, that's what babosos do. They start telling women everything and anything. And what happens? ¿Sabes qué? They fuck you. Toma puto, right? And this is what happens. He starts to tell her that he just got done doing 20 years in the feds, that he did a lot of heinous things to people, and how he has changed his life, and how he's actually a federal witness right there, hiding out because he's going to testify against Juan Dique in this, retrial. Of course, she feels sketchy about this. She feels like he's lying, yet he may be telling the truth. So she starts to record him. So everybody was telling, right? She starts to record him, these conversations that they're having. And somewhere along the line, he starts to admit to her that Juan Dique really didn't do this, but this was just an intricate plot and plan for him to be out there on the calles. Basically, he was throwing this vato under the bus, figuring, fuck it, man. Hey, ain't no one going to hear about this vato anyways, right? So what happens eventually is she turns these tapes over to the prosecution, to the federal government, and they have no choice but to drop the case against Juan Dique. Gracias. Now, Juan Dique, puto, don't think you're getting away that easy. He still was a vato that preyed on women, so he had nothing coming and doesn't have anything coming. I don't condone that, but what I will say is this. He got told on unjustifiably for something he didn't do. To that crime, Sasuke, he didn't do it, man. You can't be mad at him for that. But I will say, for what he has done to women, man, he's cagada, mierda, chorro. You know what I mean? Not churro, puto, I said chorro, right? That's exactly what he is. And of course, they deported him. He's now back wherever he's at, if he's still alive, or if fucking Sombra Negra hasn't got him already. Anyways, right? This is how it goes. This is how the game is played. But Mousie, it trips me out because someone that high caliber, someone that was looked at and respected that much in the city of Fresno, in the Bulldog organization, a very well-respected organization. You could call it what you want. You could say the Federals don't pose no threat. You could say fucking, hey, they ain't never been about that, and you'd be a motherfucking fool, and I'd be remiss to say, man, them vatos are with the functions and the activities. If you ever go to the city of Fresno, you better have your muzzle on lock, because theirs are, and they will get off where they're mad at. Period, plain and simple. See those spikes on the collars, vato? Those are sharp. And they use them, right? Plain and simple, and period. That's how they get down in the city of Fresno. So for someone of the caliber of Mousie Armando Morales, who once was implementing a structure into their gang, who actually had this formulated plan, this plot, this idea, and I remember when it came out, was a trip. It never went through. People seen the writing on the wall that this individual was a shiesty, a sham, a con artist, and ultimately a ratone, right? He was no good in the hood. And I'm sure vatos know now in Fresno, and it's all eyes on him. All point bulletins. At the same time, you can't be mad at a man for trying to change his life, but Sasuke, he was trying to change others to change his. And that ain't a great thing, and not a good thing. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not here to judge the next man, but at the same time, I'm just telling the story as I seen it. And he was doing some bad things to some individuals that didn't righteously deserve that. They had never did anything to him. Now, the reason I wanted to touch on this subject was because, of course, that Chandra Levy case is still outstanding, still going. Like I said, national attention was on it. We don't hear much about it anymore. But it's a case that, of course, will unfold as it unfolds. Now, Mr. Morales, of course, is out of sight, in hiding, doing what he does. And, of course, he did not even get prosecuted for lying on the stand and for doing what he did. He got the little slap on the paw, and he was able to push on. And wherever he's at, whatever he's doing, to each their own. I hope his life pans out the way he intends it to. At the same time, I don't think he's going to go back to Fresno to eat a tamale right there on fucking on Bond Street. It ain't going to happen, right? If you hit college, vato, they're going to give you some knowledge that you could only learn in the barrio of college. Period. Plain and simple. That's just the way the Bulldogs wiggle. Anyways, with that being said, yes, man, he was the founder of the Bulldog Nation, who turned federal informant, or maybe he already was. Can't call it like an alcoholic, but what I do know, man, is he wasn't a righteous individual at the end of the day. But by no means does this have a reflection of a bearing on the Fresno Bulldog organization, to which I respect a lot. With that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get every fucking thing that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about going out there and wiggle for your familia. If someone else tells you something, keep your damn mouth shut. So it's not your room to speak on. He's telling you in confidence, vato. Be a real individual and shut the hell up. Anyways, if you don't like this, it's cool. I understand. Thumbs down. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to do what I do. But if you do like it, hit that notification button and you'll get notified of every profile I got boom bangling. I just dropped a banger on Gunners Collective, my sister channel. Definitely jump over there. You'll see what's cracking with it. We're going to maintain and mainframe that main gang. You know what it is right here. Profiling, styling. We're doing it every day. And we will do this till the wheels fall off. If they fall off, I'll get tape. I'll put them back. Gorilla glue. Vámonos. Let's go. I'm going to Fresno right now. Fuck it. Perros. You got my back? Fuck Mousey.